But we've had reports of that they are releasing some of these migrants, or actually the majority of the migrants that were here in Del Rio, into the country. I don't have the exact number. Obviously, those numbers come from CBP, but those are reports that we're hearing from agents on the ground.
Right. The big question, of course, is where are these migrants headed if they're not going back to Haiti? Talk to me about the situation of what you're seeing under the bridge right now. Describe it for us, if you could.
So right now, the majority has been cleared out already. There's still, I would say, maybe several thousand that are still left underneath the bridge, which will possibly be cleared out today. So compared to Saturday and today, it's a totally different picture.
Sir, Governor Greg Abbott describes his plan to address the surge of Haitian migrants streaming across the U.S. border on Greg Kelly Reports earlier this week. Take a listen.
We're tapping into all the resources we have to address the problem as aggressively as possible. The Haitians were walking across from Mexico to Texas. When we saw that, I called the director of the State Department of Public Safety and said, we got to shut that down. One thing that we are doing is both the Texas Department of Public Safety and the National Guard are authorized to make these arrests and put people in jail. Biden has catch and release. Texas has arrest in jail for our program.
Sir, what's happening? Are you arresting folks? Are you putting them in jail?
Yes, Allison. So under Governor Greg Abbott's decisive leadership, in March, when this crisis began in early January, but we launched the Operation Lone Star. That is a state initiative operation deploying over 1,000 Texas Department of Public Safety personnel to the southern border, as well as the Texas Military Department. In addition to that, we started cracking down on some of these illegal immigrants that are crossing into the country by making arrests, charging them with state violations for criminal trespass and criminal mischief. It was a perfect example today how a strategy works when you have all the resources in place. Saturday, there was approximately 15,000 migrants surging to the border here in Del Rio. We were able, at a moment's notice, to deploy hundreds of troopers to Del Rio and formed a steel wall with their patrol units, and it acted as a deterrent. And we were able to contain the area. And since then, there has not been any groups crossing into this particular area.
Okay, so that does send a message, a clear one here. But you mentioned resources, right? The fact that you might be lacking in some. And we learned yesterday from the White House that Border Patrol agents are no longer allowed on horseback in the Del Rio area. Again, this from a fabricated story, quite frankly, of Border Patrol agents riding a horse and using reins as whips. Now, we haven't seen video that actually shows that take place. In fact, the photographer who documented the photos said that he didn't see a Border Patrol agent using the reins in an inappropriate manner around migrants here. Talk to me about how removing these horses could impact your strategy in dealing with migrants.
So you're right on point. It's fabricated. It's a deflection of the current crisis right now to now focus on an incident it's been fabricated. We had state troopers on the ground with those horseback agents, and at no time did those agents, well, first of all, they don't have whips. So they did not whip any migrants. Those are reins. It's a tool to use to direct the horse, to control the horse. It's a safety mechanism for the horse and for the rider. Now, I can tell you right now, if that agent did not act, and there was a migrant that approached the horse, and the horse would have stomped or kicked a migrant, the narrative would have been different. They would have asked, why didn't that agent act? Why didn't that agent keep that horse away from the migrant? But I can tell you right now, it's a very effective tool having agents on horseback. And right now, pulling them away from this current crisis it's not going to help the problem. It's only going to make it worse.
Yeah, how much worse can it get? Because we know that you're overworked. We know that the governor is basically saying we have to take things into our own hands because you're not getting help from the federal government. So by not having these Border Patrol agents on horses, now what? What will happen?
Well, I mean, first of all, Border Patrol is overwhelmed. They're stretched thin. They're pulling all the agents from the field when they should be out there in the field trying to interdict some of these drugs that are coming across, some of these criminals that are coming across the border. But right now they can't, because right now they're stuck in processing centers babysitting because they don't get the support from the federal government, especially now being criticized, scrutinized by the federal government. It's demoralizing for them. So what we do as a state of Texas and state troopers and, of course, the governor, we have support for our agents. We work with our agents. I've been working with Border Patrol agents my whole career. I have 20 years of law enforcement, and they are very effective. We have a collaborative effort with them. And right now, it's very demoralizing to them, this particular incident. And like you said, How worse can it get? It seems like it's getting worse, every single month. There's always something going on, not only here in Del Rio, but also in the Rio Grande Valley. So there's a lot of activity taking place, but we're stepping in and trying to affect those measures as much as possible with the resources we have.